Hello and welcome to today's live, this first one of the new year. Happy 2025. So excited that you all could join today. One of the things that we want to talk about today is really having a plan for your resource development or your fundraising. And I want to specifically speak to new nonprofits. We work a lot with founder led organizations, founder led nonprofits, they're startups, maybe been in existence for a year or less, or some we're even working with to help them establish their 501c3 nonprofit organization. In any case, this is going to be helpful for anyone who is responsible for resource development or raising money for their organization. No one starts a nonprofit to raise money. You started it because you wanted to make a difference. You saw a need that you wanted to address, and then you figured out along the way that you needed to raise funds to pay for the good work that you're doing. So if you're starting a new nonprofit or you're just starting out, you already know that the need to raise money is important. The need to raise money is paramount. And it's something that you definitely need to focus on. And I want to talk to you today about having a plan to do that and really setting yourself up for an amazing 2025. So if you're starting a new nonprofit, you already know you need money to raise, you need money to do the work that you need to do. And so, with that in mind, you can plan and make it easier for yourself. Many nonprofit founders or others that work in the industry, they might see a grant and an opportunity and they go after that grant without having really establishing exactly what they want to do. So in the beginning, you might be self-funded. We work with a lot of funder-led organizations that are going into their savings to start the nonprofit. That is not sustainable. So we want to work with you this year to help you plan out your year in order to bring in dollars that can support you throughout. And so you started, you might have asked your friends, your coworkers, family members to give you a few dollars to help you start this nonprofit, or even to sit on the board if they may be willing to do that. But again, that's not sustainable for the long term. If you really want to make impact, if you really want to make a difference, you really want to run your entire organization on the generosity of people who love your mission and love what you do. And then build that out to connect with businesses, corporations, some state and federal grants, and even foundation grants. But you want to start by building a healthy individual donor database, an individual donor relationship. So, unless you are independently wealthy and you have an endless revenue stream, I think this approach will give you less heartburn, and this approach will help you to really sustain your organization. No two nonprofits are exactly alike. It all starts with planning. We need a plan that includes an overall fundraising goal and strategies that will help you plan to reach those goals. So, a goal without a plan is just a wish. You really need to make sure that you have these goals, but you set out strategically a plan to really help you achieve that. You should have a detailed activities calendar. We have that available for you to download. Just email us and we can make sure you get that. But the calendar shows you all the various ways you can plan the entire calendar year to raise money for your nonprofit. And sometimes you can even tie it into existing holidays, existing things that are happening in the world that are on the calendar that may tie in nicely with what your nonprofit is doing. So you need to think about what you'll do and when you will ask for money. You want to think about when you're not going to ask for money, like having a donor stewardship campaign, having donor communication, individuals that we call it warm touches, that you are sharing with them your intentions, your brand, giving them a great experience to get to know who you are. Because again, we're building relationships. And so to do that, you're not going to ask for money on the first conversation or like on a cold call and say, "Hey, can you donate to our organization?" No, you want to build a relationship. You want to share with them why what you're doing is important, what the need is, and how you intend to address that need with your organization. That is going to be so critical because then people will just raise their hand and they will really begin to go like, "Oh yeah, that is something that I've been worried about. I'm going to give to that organization because I can't do it, but these people are experienced and they will go in and do the work, and so I'm going to fund them to do that." So let's talk more about the importance of planning. So established nonprofits, those have been around for a while, they do planning, but they have an advantage over startups. They have an advantage over new nonprofits. They can build their fundraising plan annually based on previous year's history. So they know when donors gave, what campaign they gave to, what email they gave to, what you did as an outreach. And so they can track that and they can see what worked, they can see what didn't work, and they can decide what to do in the upcoming year. So that's an advantage over a startup that an established organization has. But you also have the benefit of not having that, but you can build upon that. The other thing established organizations have that nonprofits that are startups don't have, and that is they have the benefit of knowing their donors. They know them, they know when they give, they know how they give, and they know why they give, specific outreaches and things like that. But as a new nonprofit, you don't have that. And you don't have the benefit of looking at your revenue numbers from previous years because you don't have that. And since this might be your first year, and we're working with a few organizations that are starting out their first and second year, you won't have any of that information. But don't fret because we have the perfect plan for you that will assist you in getting on track to begin to build your donor base. So first you want to start by identifying your ideal donor prospect. And then you want to create a plan for finding them in your community. And I believe, and I've seen, the most effective ways to do this is conducting a market study. I've done hundreds of market studies for new nonprofits. And what this market study does, it actually finds and locates individuals, families, family foundations that have the propensity and the affinity to give to your organization because it's been demonstrated that they love the cause that you are involved in. And so, having this market study, you can begin to tailor an outreach campaign specifically designed to begin to get them as advocates for your organization by educating them on what you do and who you are. So in January and February, that is the greatest time, I believe, to get this market study done. January is ideal because it sets you up for a win for the year. It will set you up to really begin to have a pool of individuals that you can take on this cultivation cycle throughout the year, and they will become advocates to begin to give to your organization. Then it's time to kind of develop your voice. We have helped organizations build out their business plan, build out their operationals plan, build out their programs and how they're going to do the work that they have identified that needs to be done. We help them with recruiting board members, training them and onboarding them. and having them to understand their roles and responsibilities as it relates to resource development. So when you develop your voice, you're looking how to define your brand. You're looking for ways to share with the public who you are, your history, why you are doing what you're doing. You saw a need, you want to meet that need, and this is the way that you're going to do that. And so the key elements in this kind of brand development is something that's going to be really important for you because it's going to form the basis of all of your fundraising activities for the year. All of these will get you started on the right foot. And it's really just called donor-based fundraising, which is the best way to create recurring revenue stream for your organization that you can count on month after month and year after year. So remember, you are in your early months of your nonprofit. You're essentially training your supporters of what they can expect from you. You want to share with them what is the impact that their dollars that they gave, what did it accomplish? Continue to communicate to them over and over again, not with asking them for information, for donations, but giving them information about what you're doing to bring them along as partners on the journey with you. That makes for a great opportunity for them to be purposeful when they're deciding on which organizations they're going to give to. And they're going to give to the organizations that have been faithful in sharing the impact that they've had in the communities that they serve, with the causes that they're involved in, and how they're making a difference. Wouldn't you, as a donor, want to know that? You give to an organization and then you don't hear from them again? I've been in that situation as a philanthropist. I've given to organizations only to get a text message, thank you, from the founder. Didn't really go over too well. I want to know what my dollars did. I want to know what you've done in the organization. Then that may want to propel me or convince me to continue giving. So making sure that you have this plan of care, stewardship, and cultivation for your donors is so key. And this goes for prospects as well. These individuals that are they don't know you, so it's your time to share who you are, let them know what you're doing and the impact and difference that you're making in the world because you exist. And so I think that that's something important. So I want to segue now into what you should be doing to get this plan in place for the new year. And I want to do that in 3 simple steps. You can take notes or you can watch this live on our YouTube channel. Please visit the YouTube channel, like and subscribe. We have tons of content there that's free to you. We also have a link to our website where you can get resources and downloadable PDFs that you can use to further your cause. So, step 1, you want to set a goal. You want to start by mapping out your programs and the services that you plan to provide during the year. You really want to figure out what you're trying to provide, how many people or animals or whoever your population is, who will you serve? What is the need? Why you are focusing on this particular group? And then what will be the impact? Why do you exist? What are you planning to accomplish? And then what is your impact? And how much is it going to cost? That is so key. Sometimes we run out to go and do fundraising with no sense of what it's going to cost to actually implement the things that we say that we're going to do in any kind of appeal letter or proposal that we put out there. We want to specifically know what you want to do that aligns with your mission, vision, and values, and tell that donor, that prospect, exactly what you intend to do. Think of that in terms of action. This is the problem, and these are the things that we're going to do, the action steps that we're going to take to solve the problem. It's not enough to say that you want to make sure that all children don't go hungry, or that no animal is left out in the cold. You have to be more specific. You want to provide X number of meals to X number of children for X amount of time. Or you want to make sure that X amount of animals get to X amount of shelters during the winter months, whatever that is. Making sure you put that tangible numbers behind what you plan to do. Then you want to really drill down to what are the costs? What is the number that's associated with your program costs? How much do you need to run your nonprofit this year? This includes any rents, facility costs, administration, phones, payroll, any other expense that you need to keep your doors open. These are your operating costs, and you really need to make sure that you outline them, look at them quarterly, monthly with your board to make sure you're on track of having the revenue you need to sustain your organization. And add these two things together, you get your fundraising goal. That's the first thing that you want to get off of your plate. And then, secondly, you want to choose the strategies. You want to make sure you have the right strategies. When your nonprofit is new, it's easy to grab at opportunities for like quick cash, a GoFundMe, or you see an RFP to apply for, or some catchy thing to do, and you get really, really excited about restaurant night or the t-shirt sales or any kind of contest. Those things can be great as fundraisers, especially if they're executed well and they have some thought and some planning to it. But again, they're usually one-offs and they're usually not sustainable. The burger dinners, burger and beers, the different things that are just catchy, but don't attract a lot of people and don't attract a lot of dollars. The other thing that's concerning about these things to me personally, and which is why I shift from a fundraising model to a resource development model, is because these types of activities are transactional. They're transactional fundraising, and they do nothing to build relationships with your prospects or with your existing donors. When people participate in these types of fundraiser, they're not really donating at all. They're just eating at your restaurant or purchasing something for themselves, whether it's a t-shirt or whatever swag you have, or and it really kind of doesn't benefit your organization. So I really do a deep dive in looking at, return on investment for your events, a return on investment for your activities. Look at that ROI. Did you really make any money after you purchased all those t-shirts and then they're still sitting in the supply closet because you didn't sell them all? Not a good return on investment. So the difference between fundraisers and fundraising is just that what the person gets in return. A true donor-based fundraising model or resource development model is relationship based. It is not based on catchy, gimmicky types of fundraisers, because people, if they believe in what you're doing, they want to support you if you've been a good steward of sharing with them the impact of their dollars and how their hard-earned money is going to not only support your organization, but going to help whatever dis-ease in the community that your organization was established to help. And so move from the fundraising model to a resource development model that's more transformational and relational than transactional. You're not getting anything out of selling things or having contests. Those things are great one or two times off as a beginning, but you want to make sure that you are building a recurring donor base. The next is making sure that you write it down. So you have these grand ideas, you have your goals that align with your mission and your vision. You want to make sure now that you've written down the plan, you've aligned it with your 90-day calendar, and you want to make sure that you have the action steps that are going to go along with that. And who's going to be doing it? It's not going to just fall on the founder, CEO, the president. It's not going to just fall on staff or family members if you don't have staff. And you want to make sure that you engage your board. And so we do an amazing training called the Art of the Ask that really talks about asking styles and walk your volunteers and your board through the ways in which they can begin to open up their circle of influence and begin to talk to people about your amazing organization and what you do to begin to bring them in the family. And there are all kinds of ways that we outline for you that you can do this. And so make sure you follow these 3 key steps that will get you started. You want to set a fundraising goal. You want to choose the right fundraising strategies, go from transactional to transformational, and then you want to make sure that you document, you write down, you thank your donors, you cultivate them, you give them impact statements. All of these things are going to help you in the long run to begin to build out to have an amazing 2025. So again, if you missed this live, visit our YouTube channel. You can actually download PDFs of the information that I've shared, as well as subscribe and like for future content that we have. Happy New Year, everyone, and I'm so excited that you were able to join today. My name is Sharon Jones. I am the founder and lead consultant of Nonprofit Solutions Matter, where we build sustainable nonprofit organizations. Bye for now.